All right, guys, back again. So today we're on page 67 for me. So put whatever number you're on, and we're going to be doing solving quadratics by factoring. Okay, now remember I told you a while back that we're going to work a little bit backwards when we get to the factoring part. Okay, so we're going to teach you how to do it in the calculator first, and then I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. So here comes the calculator part first, because this could be a very essential tool for when you're doing the STAR test. So here's solving quadratics by factoring with the calculator. Okay, so our object of this is to find the zeros or the roots or the x-intercepts, however you want to say it. So to do this in the calculator, it is a lot of button pushing, but it's super easy and you don't have to do very much. So the first thing, here's your 6 steps that I need you to write. First thing, you have to get the equation equal to 0. Once it's equal to 0, you're putting the equation in y1 and you put the 0 in y2. Once you do that, you're going to press second trace, and we're going to do number 5 because we want where it's intersecting. You're going to have to move to one of the intersections. I always like to go to the left one first, and then you hit enter 3 times. You may not be able to get exactly to the intersection, but you get as close as you can. And then I need you to write what your x is. Then we're going to repeat step 4 again, but once we get to moving to the intersection, we're going to go to the second intersection, which I would go to the I always go to the left one first, and then I go to the right one. And then you're going to write your answers in numerical order. So whatever smaller number and then the bigger number. And you put them in brackets. So we're going to do 6 examples. So if you want to move down and write your 6 examples, I'm going to make this short and sweet. So we're going to go into the calculator and we're going to type in x squared plus x minus 2. And since it equals 0, we put 0 in the bottom. So you just write your equation in the top, 0 and y2, and you're going to press second trace, number 5. Now you got to give it a second to let it trace. If it's blinking or circling up here, that means it's thinking. Okay, so once it stops thinking, you're going to move your cursor, and I'm going to go to this first intersection right here, and I'm going to hit enter, enter, enter. And it tells me that x is negative 2. So I am going to write x equals, and I'm going to open up my bracket. And as long as you do the left one first, your numbers go in order. So I'm going to put negative 2, comma, and then I'm going to repeat, like step 5 says, second trace, number 5. I'm going to move to the other one and do enter, enter, enter. And they tell me that the intersection is 1. And you're done. Okay, for example 2, it is equal to 0. So we just go back. We're going to clear out y1. We're going to put in x squared minus 8x plus 16. I already have 0 and y2, so second trace, number 5. Okay, if you look at this one, it doesn't actually cross the x-axis. So you should know from the other day that we only have 1, 0. So we're going to second trace number 5. And then you've got to move your cursor until you can see it, and you want to get as close as you can to that intersection and hit enter, enter, enter. And this one's just a smidge off on the rounding, but if you look at your calculator, you can tell it's touching right at 4. Okay. Or if you were to round that, 3.99 would become 4. Okay, for number 3, again, it's equal to 0. We're going to just do 6x squared minus 12x, and since there's nothing else, I keep 0 in the bottom. Second trace, number 5. Let it graph. Oh, it's blinking right at the first intersection, so we're going to just do enter, 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 and it tells me that it's at 0. So I'm going to do x equals 0. And then I do second trace, number 5. Move to the other one, and you want to just get as close as you can. So enter, 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 and it tells you it's at 2. Okay, so now going to number 4, again, it's equal to 0, and I picked this one for a reason, and you'll see in just a second. 9x squared minus 49. I already got 0, so second trace, number 5. As this one graphs, you can see it goes in between numbers. So this one will have decimal answers. That's why I picked this one. So I'm going to move my cursor, and it's going to take me a little bit until I can see it. And if you see it jumps big right here, it doesn't actually go to the intersection. So just pick one of them that's close and do enter, enter, enter. And it's going to tell me that x equals -2. And since the 3 is repeating, I'm going to put the repeating bar on 3. Now I'm going to repeat. Second trace, number 5. I'm going to move back to the other side. Oh, okay. Enter, enter, enter. And this one tells me it's +2.3 repeating. If they give you a decimal, just give me one decimal place. That's fine. But if it's a repeating number, put the repeating bar. Okay, for number 5, now we're not equal to 0. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 21. And when I do that, it doesn't go with x squared, so I keep x squared. It doesn't go with 4x, so I keep 4x. And then I just put -21 equals 0. So now I go back to the calculator, and we're going to do x squared plus 4x minus 21. I've already got 0 and y2, second trace, number 5. And then moving my cursor until I see it close over here. It's starting to show up. Oh, that one was better. So I'm going to do enter, enter, enter. And it tells me that x equals -7. Now I repeat second trace 5. Move my cursor all the way back over to the other side. There it is. Enter, enter, enter. And they tell me that the intersection is x for 3. Okay, for number 6, x squared minus 10x plus 49 equals 4x plus 1. First thing I'm going to do is get this 4x and the 1 on the other side. So I'm going to minus 4x, and I'm going to put it under the -10x. But I'm also going to go ahead and do my -1 in the same step, and I'm going to put that under 49 because I need both things over here. They'll cancel there, so I get x squared minus 14x plus 48 equals 0. Now we're back to the calculator because it's equal to 0, so x squared minus, that's negative, minus 14x plus 48, second trace, number 5. Let it graph. Excuse me. You can see it's crossing twice, so I need to move my cursor until I get to the first curve. That's pretty close. Enter, 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 and I get x equals 6. And then I repeat second trace 5, move to the other curve, enter, 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 and I get 8. Okay, you're going to be doing that on your worksheet. Now remember, if you do get decimals, just give me one decimal place. Make sure you round it correctly, and if you have questions, please let me know.